Police investigate abduction and rape. Ousted Governor calls for calm. And exposing the cultures of a lost tribe.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Friday's news. Police in NCD are calling on the driver and crew of a PMV bus to come forward and give evidence on the abduction and rape of a teenage girl in Port Moresby. Investigations into the incident which occurred between Hohola and Waigani Drive a few days ago is underway.
Contact has been made with the victim's parents who have come forward to CID Sexual Offences Squad. At the moment, the young lady is traumatized and unable to be interviewed by police detectives. Once she is ready, the detectives will organize for an interview with her parents.
So she is traumatized at this point of time and is unable to be interviewed by police. The investigation is progressing with potential witnesses being identified. And from there we shall progress on.
From the victim's parents, it was outside at the Stop and Shop bus stop that she had realized that passengers had got off the bus and there were only males on board. She was seated in front opposite the bus driver. She then realized that the bus driver and crew were held up and directed to take the left hand from the Waigani tunnel towards Hohola. The bus was stopped there and the victim was forced out and taken up towards the hill. After the ordeal, the girl had to walk from the crime scene to her relative's residence, which police say could be around 30 or more minutes, including the time it took for her to tell her ordeal, may have taken an hour or so before they reported to the Hohola police station. By then, the suspects may have left. Wagambi thanks the young girl's aunt for quickly responding to her and bringing her to the station and later to the FSC.
She didn't know how to, express what had happened to her, and she was just standing there and, tears rolling down her eye. And this is what she said. She said, I got some men just, got me in the bus, brought me up, and did this to me. They took all my money, they ripped my clothes off, and this is what happened to me. And she just stood there crying,
Police detectives have identified possible witnesses who will be interviewed to assess if their witness statements are eyewitness or hearsay and if can be used to track down suspects. Detectives are going through the location where the crime happened to see if there is a possibility that CCTV from nearby businesses may have captured the incident. Police are appealing to the bus driver and crew, if they are genuine, to come to police and assist in the investigation.
Time this incident will come up, if we got sample man and Mary being stopped this bus, or na sample line must be looking, this heavy been come up. As a community, we must work together. Now, this bus driver the crew, please me appeal to you. Suppose you been go to police station, this is a time threat at the by right. So suppose you think plenty, you can now go to police station. Now, give information go to police. Lo halvi mi plan must find him this law man make him heavy.
Wagambi said they condemn the savage and animalistic act by these animals and will give their utmost effort in the investigations to locate the perpetrators.
But from my office, I give the assurance that a thorough investigation is being carried out, and we will do our very, very best, working with the victim and potential witnesses to identify those who are involved and to have them dealt with by the court of law.
He also appealed to city residents, especially women and girls, to be vigilant at all times when traveling on public motor vehicles and always look around and see who is on board. Charmaine Poreambeb, National EMTV News.
One of the 18 detainees who escaped from Bomana prison has been recaptured by Correctional Service officers near Sabusa in the Central Province. Identified as Saku Dove, aged 30, was sentenced for life on a murder charge. Names of the other 17 have been released and police have joined in the manhunt for the others at large. The mass breakout occurred after 12 p.m. yesterday while the prison was observing National Repentance Day.
Ibin kat all officers ibin stop lo duty, but at that time, the officer was law stop long halfway escape in come up long and have not been stopped. So I'm played by working own investigation from plan law display. So was stop by not escape long display area. Yes, kami I'm bigla pil long mi plan kita inside long correctional service. People like him. So was the slow wet court or kalabu so you come up long family belong you. People like him you see him I can bring him back. That's all. Because long I'm lost stop outside, and by more heavy long outside. Because in all wet coat that's all wet coat we only got 4 months to stop outside too. Now we're gonna show you more too, but I got more heavy inside long society. So yes, I'm a responsibility to look out him all. But now that only go out, me play working strong bla appeal through long all get a line family. Where this wet coat go out, I mean beginning belong you or man blow you or Barta or Susa or talking them long come back the earlier play how much so semi come back. Including this one blood death sentence prisoner na to life year prisoner too. We like him already must come back.
Ousted Governor William Powie is calling the people of Southern Highlands to remain calm and allow the rule of law to take its course. Speaking today in Port Moresby, Powie says he's not moved by the court decision this week that nullified his election in 2017. Powie's lawyers filed a Supreme Court appeal today.
3 days after the Court of Disputed Returns ruled against his election, a cool and calm Powie met with the media today to air his concerns. Speaking openly, the Southern Highlands Governor welcomed the judgment and says he has no issues with the recount. Powie says he will follow the rule of law, challenging details of the ruling.
But I have remained quiet over the last 3 days because I did not want to preempt anything. I've studied the court decision. I have no issues with the recount because I didn't even oppose the recounting process. I have issues with the court's decision of suspending me from office and creating a vacancy.
Powie's lawyers filed a Supreme Court appeal today. While all this plays out in Port Moresby, there are reports that a handful of individuals have locked the gates to the Aigiru building in Mendi Town. He has appealed to people to respect state properties and for public servants to continue their work.
You like kiss him, you can kiss him, but we will do it properly following the right process. Don't go and chant the Agiru Center. Agiru Center is where the public service mechanism is, and public service delivery, public servants need to work. The court has nothing to do with the provincial administration and service delivery and the district administration, CEOs, the entire public service. It has something to do with the office of the governor.
Imbongo MP and Intergovernment Relations Minister Pila Niningi also joined the news conference. He says those locking government officers must be arrested.
Police must take a proactive. No can RM talk Greece now you stop number. Now and police must step in. So me like appeal long, police long, step in long, restore him order.
A day after the court ruled against Powie's election, Prime Minister James Marape also called for peace among the people in Southern Highlands.
And I appeal to people in Southern Highlands, don't take law into your hands, respect the court rulings. I've now instructed Police Commissioner to deploy one more police unit into Mendi to assist the counting process if it goes ahead, and to ensure that safety of public property, safety of the Electoral Commission officials and what needs to be done up there is done.
Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
Capital Centre Limited, or TST Group of companies, is in the process of filing contempt charges against NCDC for demolishing a temporary fence it put up. This involves portion 219 to Granville of Port Moresby, which the Jack Piddick Park is situated on. The fence was destroyed on Monday this week on directions from the City Commission.
The tussle over the Jack Piddick Park in Port Moresby North East electorate takes another turn, with TST going back to the courts. TST, in a statement released this morning, described the demolition of the fence by NCD Governor as blatant disregard for PNG law and democracy. In May this year, the Supreme Court in Waigani ordered that TST is the registered proprietor and portion 2192 is subjected for a survey. A survey conducted by the Surveyor General on the 10th of May 2021 recorded that portion 2192 covers 8.5 hectares and essential services like water, electricity and sewage are accessible at the developer's cost. But while TST has acted upon the court order to erect a temporary fence around Jack Piddick Park, NCD Governor Paul Sparkop, in his capacity as chairman of the NCD Physical Planning Board, demolished the fence earlier this week. The dispute over this land located within the Hubert Murray Highway dates back to a 1991 agreement between the national government and CCL, formerly known as Boy Consultancy. An agreement that the government extends health services onto a piece of land that TST holds the title to, while TST is given the title over Jack Piddick Park. This piece of land swapped for is now where the Susumama Clinic is built on. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Central Governor Robert Agarobe has reiterated his plan to take back land belonging to his people. Agarobe said this issue will not be ignored until all land tussles are over and land ownership given back to locals. He says he will continue the land fight.
I am passionate about land and my people. I will not stop the fight for my people's land as long as I am their leader. I will not cease to fight for and acquire land that belongs to my people of Central Province. The obvious move in that direction is the enacting of checkpoints at all borders of our 4 major highways of Central Province. All my development priorities are factored around a smart and green Central Province development plan.
You're watching National EMTV News. We'll have more stories after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. The public sector training policy was launched today to help improve attitudes and behaviors of public servants. With the theme Sustainable, Stable and Consistent Public Sector Training for Improved Service Delivery, the policy will ensure workers are appropriately trained to improve their performance. The policy was approved by the National Executive Council recently.
Public sector training policy.
The public sector training policy was officially launched by Public Service Minister Joe Sungi. PILAG staff, stakeholders and development partners were also in attendance. The public sector training policy will be a driving force to ensure the public sector workforce is better trained to improve their performance. It is aimed at improving the attitudes and behavior of public servants in all government agencies.
This policy is very important and relevant in terms of its utility within the overall context of the current Ousted Government's intent and policy pronouncements to ensure that public servants are appropriately skilled, trained, and capable of delivering services effectively throughout the country.
The training policy was approved by the National Executive Council recently. With this policy, it is now compulsory for all public servants to undergo postgraduate certificate or diploma in public administration at BILAG, and public servants vying for management positions must also attain a competency-based leadership qualification at BILAG.
It doesn't matter whether you are a graduate lawyer, it doesn't matter whether you are a graduate medical doctor, you must still undergo this training, the public service. You must know the public service system before you can take up a position. Otherwise, doctor, degree lawyer, law degree lawyer, you are billing law.
According to DPM Secretary Taya Sansan, the public service has experienced changes both in positive and negative ways since independence. Types of work ethics, adherence to authority and feeling of responsibility have evaporated over the years, and successive governments over the years were aware of these challenges with attempts to address it. With the aim to address these challenges, a 30-year long-term public service human resource strategic plan was launched recently, and this training policy complements the long-term human resource plan.
That aims to address some of these public service issues and to lift the level of professionalism across the entire public service. As public servants and leaders here today, and specifically heads of agencies, it is a normal task for all of us to steer the ship to a destination that we would like to see our future generation of public service leaders be where they should be.
The Secretary says the government, being the biggest employer, must be a competitive employer, and the idea is to recruit young graduates from tertiary institutions and build them to be competitive public servants.
The idea is to recruit young graduates from tertiary institutions and build them to be committed public servants, starting with their deployments in the districts. We must go back and start from there. I think this policy is a good policy where graduates go back to the villages and the district setting, and you start from there and then make your way up.
We are independent and we're free.
Rayon Lakingun National, EMTV News.
BSP Financial Group Limited Kokopo branch donated 100 desks to Anglicare Elementary School this week, with East New Britain Province playing host to BSP executive management and board directors this week. The visitors took time out to hand over the desks to the school as part of the Kokopo branch's community project.
As part of their third quarter board meeting activities, BSP Group Chairman Sekostas Konstantinou and his board of directors, including BSP Group CEO Robin Fleming and his senior executive team, took part in the desks handover ceremony to the Anglicare Elementary School in Kokopo. The donation was worth over 30,000 kina. Established back in 2002 by the Anglican Church congregation in Kokopo, the school has a student population of close to 400 students, catering for students from prep up to grade 3. BSP Kokopo branch manager Joe McKinter said during the handover that equipping students with required knowledge and skills in a much more conducive learning environment will help the development of a child at the foundation stage of learning. The tourism hub of the New Guinea Islands region has 2 BSP branches in Kokopo and Rabaul and 2 sub-branches in Kerevat and Palmalmal in the East New Britain province, delivering banking services to customers as far as New Ireland and those along the East-West New Britain highway. The Rabaul branch, although smaller than what it used to be prior to the 1994 twin volcanic eruption, continues to service the customers almost 40 years on and remains the only commercial bank operating in Rabaul town. The Kokopo branch has been in operation since 1995. Apart from the community projects, Mr. McKinter said the Kokopo branch has also been working in collaboration with the education department in the province, getting schools to register as mobile banking merchants, providing an alternative payment option for school fee payment for parents and schools. Apart from this year's community projects of equipping schools with desks, the Kokopo branch also delivered computers and printers to Tanaka Primary School last year, while Rabaul branch assisted the Malaguna Primary School, completing one of its double classrooms. In terms of COVID-19 response, hand wash basins were delivered to Tanaka Primary School, Butuwin Health Center and Kokopo Secondary School last year. Overall, BSP has invested a total of 550,000 kina through 24 community projects delivered by both Kokopo and Rabaul branches since 2009. Dennis Sorare, National EMTV News.
Trukai Industries Limited recently announced their participation in a smart eating campaign. The campaign is aimed at promoting healthy eating choices by encouraging Papua New Guineans to use simple local produce to prepare nutritional meals.
As one of the household brands in PNG, it will be the first of its kind Trukai Industries Limited and Pigeon Productions to collaborate in carrying out the Eat Smart campaign. Trukai Industries Marketing Manager Marian Tom says the campaign is all about healthy eating. She added that the partnership is a progression of Trukai's True Inspiration campaign, which started in May.
This campaign, it encourages healthy eating. And so, when we were approached by Pigeon Productions to come on board, we thought, it goes really, really well with what we are doing already. And so we're really pleased with this partnership.
Trukai brand ambassador Chef Julian Henner says the campaign is aimed at focusing on agriculture and education about nutrition.
But we want to push the messaging, and the messaging is promoting local healthy food, using the stories of the local farmers and telling their stories, because they're the real heroes of the agricultural industry in PNG. And we also want to push education and explain the importance of healthy eating and healthy nutrition for the next generation of Papua New Guineans. So that essentially is the Eat Smart campaign.
It will also be the first multi-platform campaign where the Pigeon Productions will be involved. Pigeon Productions Director Arjun Gayani says they are excited with the partnership and are looking forward in filming the 13 episodes of this campaign.
This year, we will be running till the end of the year, and then it'll be on air maybe a little bit into January, and then again there'll be a new edition next year, and then the following year. This campaign is not a 6-month thing. This campaign is a multi-year program.
Podivai, National EMTV News.
A lost tribe at the borders of Enga and East Epic provinces is finally getting exposure after 45 years of independence. Through the National Cultural Commission, the people of Netalian are using culture as a tool to drive development and bring attention to their surroundings. The group was found through a Facebook post from their only educated mineral processing graduate engineer, Miok Allah.
After finding out about the Netalian group of people, the National Cultural Commission reached out to them via Facebook and asked if they can host an annual cultural festival in this part of the Lagai-Porgera electorate to attract development into that area. They held their first cultural festival last year, and the second one this year ended yesterday. NCC Executive Director Stephen Kilanda said it would also attract development, which they have longed for a long time. There are roughly 30,000 eligible voters and an estimated 15,000 children who do not go to school. There is no road connection, no aid post or school, no government services at all. It will take up to 2 days to walk to Mulitaka in Layagam to access these services. The arrival of the National Cultural Commission last year and this year is the first time for a government agency to penetrate these isolated surroundings. NCC has helped them build 4 classrooms, and the first grades 3, 4 and 5 are currently in class learning.
After 20 years, after 30 years, after 30 years, school. So now, you be working good start. So this is working must continue.
NCC has also identified that these groups of people have a special culture and language which needs to be preserved through such festival.
MAF landed on the airstrip for the first time last month after being closed for 30 years. The appeal now is for the local and provincial governments to connect road and build basic services. Vasanatha Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
And now looking at the NASFund market report, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market this morning. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina will buy $0.2775 $0.3790 Australian dollars, $0.3954 New Zealand dollars, and 29.92 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, copper closed lower, coffee and cocoa closed higher. Crude oil is trading higher, palm oil and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. Chukai Sports is next, all the details after the break.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sport. For any sport to thrive and grow, junior development must be a core part of its operations. AFL PNG has been consistent in its mission to expand the reach of Australian rules football in the country. This has been done through its New Kick program, sparking a passion for the game among school children.
AFL PNG's flagship junior development program, Now New Kick, has continued with its mission to introduce and promote the sport of Australian rules football to the next generation of Papua New Guineans. New Kick aims to generate interest amongst children by developing basic skills necessary to excel in the sport if they wish to continue playing onto senior level.
We take them for basic skills and drills like handball, passing, kicking as well. So we run our clinic programs here, and then we also have a young talent pathway for the young ones here. They're so involved. Some of the students, they also play in the senior comp, and then they take part in the school again. So they help the new ones that are still coming. They help them in their schools, and then they build them up from there, give them confidence in the games here.
Another function of New Kick is to identify talented youngsters, guide them through AFL PNG's development pathways. This includes junior representative teams, with the ultimate aim of having young Papua New Guineans playing club football in Australia.
We have junior teams, the Kurakums and Binatans. So Kurakums are for the girls, Binatans the boys. For this year, we are only running the school program. So after the school program that is done, we have to get them in the. We're going to go for the selection, so that we have a talent pathway that we usually take for the young school, the school. So now that they're playing, we are also looking at the select ones. So we have to choose, so that we have to make our team to be in the talent pathway.
Huxley Lovai, Chukai Sports.
Following their controversial loss to the Hela Wigmen in the second elimination final of the Digicel Cup last weekend, team officials from the Moni Plus NCDC Port Moresby Vipers have launched an official complaint with the PNG National Rugby League competition regarding the allegations of biased refereeing decisions made against the Vipers, ultimately costing them the win.
This type of issue have been something that we have talked about in the past. Last year too, we had the same type of concern at the refereeing and umpiring at the finals. I had left it with our management, especially Chairman Dr. Newton, to raise our concern with PNG RFL and PNG NRLC. But this season, and especially this time, we have escalated to this media conference to air our grievances and our concern publicly, and also formally write to the game managers, PNG NRLC and PNG RFL. I had immediately after the game, because I was there, immediately raised my concern to the PNG RFL, CEO Mr. Stanley Hondina. This type of poor umpiring, it will kill the game. It will kill sponsorship. It will kill the spirit of the players. They don't deserve this. The sponsors, they don't deserve this. PNG RFL got to put this act together. And the PNG NRLC, the managers of the Intercity Cup, they got to put their act together, because for me, as I said, it's like deja vu. Every year I keep seeing the same thing, The players deserve and the sponsors deserve good quality umpiring. That if we lose on our poor skills or poor handling, or maybe we got stage fright in the finals. But to go out in a way that one man decide, it's not acceptable. My heart goes out to these boys. They don't deserve to go out like this.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details coming up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
A look at the weather forecast in the southern region. Cloudy with a shower or two in Port Moresby and Popondetta. And in the Momasa region, cloudy with a few showers in Lae, fine though cloudy in Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, cloudy with a shower or two in Lorengau and Buka. And in the Highlands region, cloudy with a shower or two in Mount Hagen and Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Friday, the 27th of August, 2021. Until next time, pleasant viewing, be safe and good night.